Happy 21st birthday, Germantown Avenue Crisis Ministry. My name is Cindy Jarvis, and I was in the beginning when God called us to do this ministry together. I've been in Chestnut Hill at the Presbyterian Church for I'm in my 23rd year, and 21 years ago, I was a newbie in Chestnut Hill, and we were doing a short little stint having a ministerium, which didn't last a whole long time. But while we lasted, one of the things we talked about at a meeting was the fact that many people were going door to door, church to church in Chestnut Hill who were in need of help, but help that we probably weren't the best people to call upon to give that help. I've always believed the church is in the business of being taken, but I think we were probably being taken in a way that was not helpful to us or to those folks who were coming to our door. At the time, Bob Tate was at St. Martin's and relatively newbie as well. He had come from Washington, I had come from Princeton. Both of us had been part of a crisis ministry, creating a crisis ministry in those ministries. So we started talking about what that was, how much better it was for us to be in a coalition and together to have someone who might know what they were doing as far as giving services and helping people pick up the pieces of their lives. And so from that conversation, we heard that First Presbyterian Church in Germantown had a social worker on staff who was essentially doing crisis ministry and maybe could do better and more if all of us gave our resources to that ministry and began to do it together. So that was the beginning. I'm going to turn this over to Nancy Muth, who will take the story from there.
Has it really been 21 years since the Germantown Avenue Crisis Ministry began? That's hard for me to believe. I joined the staff of the First Presbyterian Church in Germantown in the late 1990s as the director of urban ministry. And I began then meeting with some of the clergy who were already meeting together, discussing the possible birth of a crisis ministry in the northwest section of Philadelphia. I was asked to serve as the executive director of that ministry. And what that basically meant was you earn the money, you raise the money to run this crisis ministry. Fortunately, the First Presbyterian Church in Germantown already had a basic human needs fund that was being used and distributed by a social worker who worked part-time on the staff. But then also the Presbyterian Church of Chestnut Hill and St. Martin in the Field Episcopal Church in Chestnut Hill both agreed to assist with the finances. It wasn't long before Germantown Avenue Crisis Ministry had 17 religious organizations participating in the ministry. And they would participate by supporting it financially, but also with the idea that they would refer clients, people who would come knocking on their doors, to the ministry, and they might give them tokens. So if they're coming to a church in Chestnut Hill, they could get a token and come and visit the ministry that was located in Germantown at First Presbyterian Church. One of the things we did was when someone came, we tried to get them in touch and referred them to people who might be able to help them, people or agencies, city agencies often, but nonprofits. If necessary, we would give them a one-time financial gift up to $300. And then we began to open the food cupboard that has truly grown over the years. And then a few years later, it wasn't long, it didn't take long, that we found it necessary to hire a full-time social worker. And that's when Eileen joined the troops, and that ministry just flourished under her direction. She grew it in leaps and bounds. And it's the ministry it is now because of what Eileen and her volunteers, her many volunteers, and also other staff members that she has on board have built it to be. And I can say I'm so happy I was part of the birth of the Germantown Avenue Crisis Ministry. It's a real godsend to Northwestern Philadelphia. Thank you.
I do volunteer work at Crisis Ministry. There's about 3 of us guys that do it. We get like 1,400 pounds of good stuff, good food, and then we share on Thursday with people that really need the food.
Thank you, neighbors and friends, for helping the ministry to service you with our much needed food cupboard.
Thank you, neighbors and friends. Because of you, we can help our clients keep their lights on, keep their homes cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and continue to have running water. And we can help point them towards needful resources.
Thank you, neighbors and friends, for helping the ministry to celebrate 21 years in the Germantown community. I'm the administrative assistant. I help clients. I put clients' information into our database, and I help keep the office organized and running smoothly.
Thank you, neighbors and friends, for helping us help our clients become more self-sufficient through our Thrive program. Thank you also for helping our clients eat healthy foods through our Healthy Alternative Vouchers program. And lastly, neighbors and friends, thank you for helping us help our clients with housing assistance and rent rebate forms.
Thank you for the opportunity to serve. I consider it a pleasure to be able to utilize my accounting skills to provide service to GACM in assisting them in the performance of bookkeeping services. We make very certain that all the revenue that we receive is directed to the appropriate place, and that is assisting and helping our client base receive the assistance and the help and the support that they need.
Thank you, friends and neighbors, for helping the ministry reach out to our struggling neighbors so they can keep a roof over their heads, heat, water, and lights in their homes, and hope in their hearts.
Happy 21st anniversary, Germantown Avenue